living in the UK under certain immigration conditions that give them no rights to benefits, a status known as no recourse to public funds. Today's figures show almost a 700% rise in numbers applying to have those restrictions lifted in the past 3 months. And there are fears that those numbers will go up even more when the furlough scheme ends. Our senior Home Affairs correspondent Simon Israel has this report.
All what I needed to know, if there were no recourse to public funds, we just gave them food and all the groceries.
For the last 4 months, this food bank, clothing bank, toy bank has seen hundreds of near destitute families in East London. They all have one thing in common: no recourse to public funds. Without COVID, it's a struggle. But in the midst of this pandemic, it's much worse.
Can you describe to me what life is like for all of you?
It is very hard, quite hard for me, because it's mental pressure for me also, because when the landlord is asking for the rent, when they are asking something to give them, I can't.
Charities, MPs and welfare groups have spent years trying to get figures out of the government on the true scale of this crisis.
If the condition of their need to remain is they should have no recourse to public funds, I will find out how many there are in that position, and we will see what we can do to help.
Today saw the first official figures focusing on the numbers who have applied to have the restriction of no recourse to public funds lifted. The figures show a sharp increase in the number of applications from early this year, with an almost 700% rise since the lockdown. The success rate for these applications has also increased to almost 90%. But this is a fraction of those believed to be living under these conditions. One estimate puts the total at 1.4 million people in the UK.
Many are children. In fact, well over 100,000 children, we believe, are living in families with no recourse to public funds. And for so many of them, that means facing real day-to-day hardship, risks of homelessness, and in many cases, struggling even families struggling even to put food on the table. And that's why it's so important that we see the government suspend the no recourse to public funds condition for the period of this pandemic.
The government itself insists it's providing extensive support. That includes £4.5 billion to local authorities and charities. Nobody should find themselves destitute, they say, but that's not what they see here.
The parents have been working, contributing to our society, paying their taxes, national insurances. When the lockdown came, they lost their employment, and then they did not have anything else after that to rely on.
Today's figures offer merely a glimpse into a world of deprivation. The full picture has yet to emerge.
Simon Israel reporting.